Good morning. I have been counting down until this moment. There's no place I would rather be in the world. I'm your hometown girl. You are literally my homies. So I'm proud to be in Michigan. I'm coming to you today to walk you through my journey toward extraordinary. And I understand we all have a unique journey toward extraordinary. I've been on mine for a good number of years or decades now, and I'm inching closer to what my level of excellence and expectation is for myself personally. I was able to integrate my journey toward extraordinary with my business, my lifelong passion, and the company that I formed almost 2 decades ago. That's where I'm going to start. 25 years ago, I was trained as a mental health therapist, and I am incredibly passionate about what happens in the room. There is something both extraordinary and extraordinary that happens in the therapy room. And if you've never experienced that, if counseling is new or unknown, I would say don't wait. Pick up the phone, make the call on the website, research a therapist that is going to be an excellent match for you, because what happens in that process is beautiful, it's transformative, and I am so privileged to be part of that. Early on in my training, someone described therapy as ordinary magic, and I find it to be a perfect description of what unfolds in that room. It is a stranger who becomes somebody much more intimate than that in your life. That stranger is hearing your story and saying, of course you feel depressed. Of course you feel anxious. Of course you were brought to your knees because of that experience you had. And hearing that, it allows folks to feel seen, it allows people to feel heard, to feel understood, and when those components come together, there is a beautiful transformation that takes place. It is an honor for me to be sitting in that chair. I went from a solo practitioner early in my career to wanting to be able to do more, to reach more people. And in my line of work, that meant bringing together people like me. And so I started to make connections and make relationships happen with other practitioners who shared my vision for doing beautiful therapeutic work. And we started to grow, and we started to expand. So I started out as an individual, and most recently I've had 85 of my closest comrades who are on my clinical team doing good work with me. Now, I needed to be able to communicate my expectations and my mission for extraordinary to incoming team members. I needed them to really know, to really understand, what do I mean when I talk about extraordinary? Because if they were going to be part of my group, we needed to operate in a similar fashion. It became more than a goal for us. It became an identity. We wanted to be remarkable. From the very first call that a person would make to our office, to when they were sitting in the room, to when we walked them out of our space for the very last time and said, go do beautiful things with your life. We wanted it to be an extraordinary experience for 2 reasons. First, because we truly care about our clients and the people that become meaningful relationships to us. And 2, I'm an entrepreneur. I needed to grow my business. I needed them to refer other people to me and to our practice. So extraordinary became our mission. In order to march toward extraordinary, I needed guideposts. I needed very concrete pieces of training tools to give to my team. And now enters core values. Christy Nichols did a great workshop yesterday on values, and I appreciated her priming this for me because I think it's so meaningful. We don't think enough about values, I don't think, in our personal lives. I certainly didn't in my professional life. And when I dove into that topic, it scratched an itch for me, like I didn't know that I had. And so don't say we became a value-driven company. We always were. We could just now call it out. And I'm going to walk you through that process. Now, core values are something that they guide our decisions, they guide our behaviors, they shape our attitudes, and they are the way we are with one another. This is a picture of our team, and this encapsulates who we are and what our culture is. These are therapists and counselors. You can see that, you can feel the energy, I hope, in who we are as a practice. So let me break it down. Core values for us are a fundamental set of ideas and beliefs and practices. They inform our steps. Like I said, they inform our decisions and our behaviors, our attitudes. What I didn't realize when I set out on this journey was they already exist. It really didn't require creativity of any sort. We just had to name them. And so in order to name them, we had to really identify what are they. We had to see them. Now, that process was a fantastic process because I just looked in our waiting room. I looked in our hallways. I listened to clients who would call and say, hey, I had an amazing experience with this therapist. And I would say, tell me exactly why. What did that therapist do? How did they engage with you? Because that's the core value that we have. They're acting out their core values. And so it was an uncovering process. And we came up with 5. And the naming of these 5 changed our practice in ways that we had no idea it would change us. And then it changed us as individuals. And I'll speak from experience. I became better outside of my business, and I became much more in alignment as a professional and a mom and a wife and a sister and a friend. So these are our core values, and these are the names that we put to ours. Top-notch, tuned in, intentional, radical kindness, and seeking and seizing growth. When I read them, I'm proud of them. This is who we are. This is what represents us. So in terms of top-notch, this is more than showing up, all right? Top-notch is you are bringing your best self. I use top-notch when I'm in the hiring mode. When I'm in a hiring mode, I only hire A players. I only hire someone when after I get up and I walk to the door with them, I think, hell yes. They are going to contribute to our team in ways that are going to fill gaps. That is a top-notch candidate for me. I want that person on my team. These folks strive for excellence. I try to get my kids to be top-notch in school. And we talk a lot about striving for excellence. It's more than showing up. It's engaging. Tuned in. Tuned in is a keen awareness. Here, we're picking up on what is going in within ourselves, in other people, and in the environment. That's being tuned in. We're also willing to be reflective on how do I contribute to what is happening right now? What is my place in the room, in the environment? That's being tuned in. In my therapy world, this is essential. This is empathy. This is where empathy lives. Now, if tuned in is the awareness component, intentional is the action component. And this is where we act on that awareness. Action is key. If we've heard a theme over the last couple days, action is where it's at, right? That's the core or the root of heroism. This is where mindfulness lives. Mindfulness lives in this value. There are meaningful touches where we are both considerate and thoughtful. What I started to notice at work with this intention core value was an increase in gestures. So I would walk down the hall and I would see Post-it notes and cards on people's desks and chairs, and it was one another of the therapists and the administrative team members just leaving notes saying, "You don't know how amazing you really are!" Exclamation point. That was unprompted. We didn't have a day designated to that. We didn't have a week. That is our normal. That's how we operate now. And so we operate with intention. This is my favorite. I play favorites. Radical kindness. A way of being that includes all the good stuff in life. Here it is. Humility, compassion, gratitude, hospitality, generosity, respect, everything that we want to teach our children and our neighbors, and we want our teachers to teach our children and our neighbors, and we want to receive from our partners and our spouses and our friends. It is radical kindness. Kindness has become cool in the last 5 years. I love that I can walk into almost any store right now and I can buy a piece of clothing that has something about being kind. It's amazing. I wanted to turn that up even more, though. We weren't looking for just kind. We were looking for radical kindness. Kindness to an extreme where it leaves an impression on someone. When someone leaves my building or leaves a therapy session with any one of my team members, I want them to think, wow, that was unexpected. Yes, we care about you, we care for you in unexpected ways, because you deserve it. And the last one is seeking and seizing growth. This one is driven by a hunger for curiosity. This is, how do we improve? How do we expand? How do we continue learning? If the seeking part of the equation is about curiosity, the seizing, here we go again with the action step, that's about going and getting it. And so I love the idea of evolution. I will be the first person to tell you that I'm still becoming as a human, and I hope the next time we meet, I'm better than I am today. And so I love the idea of growth. The core values that I presented to you today are my company core values. And I only want these to be an introduction to get your wheels turning and thinking about, well, what are mine? Because we all have them. They already exist. Let me go back to that very important idea. I'm not asking you to create anything. They're already there. And so just dust them off, uncover them, but most importantly, name them. Because as soon as you name them and you call them out, they become more real. They become almost more tangible. And so my call to action today is just one. We're spending the day together, and so I look forward to conversations with all of you. But just identify one today, name it, and then share it. Because as we share it, it makes us accountable to that. Share it with a partner, share it with a stranger. Sometimes that's great. And then you'll start to live it. You will start to become in alignment with that value and act in accordance with that guy. I am so grateful to have this opportunity to be with you today. Thank you.